Hello everyone and welcome back to LewisFiction and welcome to the Spectacular Spider-Man Season 4 and Episode 2 in the series. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And with that being said, let's get straight into it. Episode 2, Physical Education, Part 1. We kicked this episode off during the first week of January. This is after the Christmas break, and everyone is back in school. We get a few scenes where we are reintroduced to our main cast from the high school, including obviously Flash Thompson, we get Randy, we get Kenny, and we get a bunch of others that are reintroduced to us. We also get a few scenes between Peter and Gwen that seem kind of awkward, with them looking across at each other in class and also walking past each other in the hallway but not saying anything. Both of them have so much to say to each other, however they feel like they can't say it, especially after what Gwen said in her letter to Peter at the end of the last episode. After a few scenes reintroducing us to the school atmosphere of Season 3, Peter will go out to be Spider-Man for a while just to get some fresh air. He thinks over everything that's happened with Gwen and how he could possibly fix it. But with Captain Stacy as her father, and with Captain Stacy knowing Peter's identity, there isn't really much he can do. Peter ponders on this thought and thinks that Spider-Man always ruins his life. He had that one chance to reverse the effects of Spider-Man before, but then decided that with great power comes great responsibility. And over the course of his career as Spider-Man, especially at the end of Season 3 as well, that message is constantly reiterated to him as to why he cannot stop being Spider-Man. He will never stop being Spider-Man. After this one scene, Peter will be swinging through the air when he is suddenly attacked out of nowhere. Peter will fall to the ground, and a villain with a skull-like looking mask, with a hood, carrying a sword by his side, will stand over him. Peter will look up and ask, "Who are you?" And the man standing over him will say his name is Taskmaster. And of course, obviously, in classic Taskmaster fashion, he will just show up out of nowhere to fight Spider-Man. Peter will unknowingly question his motif and what he is attacking him for, as it is currently not known. No crimes have been committed, he has not even tried to stop him, plus Peter has never come across this guy in his life, even after all of the villains he's fought before. As the battle rages on between the two, Peter wonders to himself, is this revenge in some way? Does this guy know someone that he's fought before? Has Peter wronged anyone? Could it be linked back to the Green Goblin just as Scorpion was in Season 3? Peter ponders all of these scenarios in his head whilst trying to keep up with Taskmaster. However, as the battle rages on, which will be around 1 to 2 minutes of the actual episode, Peter will start to realise that Taskmaster will actually start to copy his moves. And when Peter tries to use the same move twice, Taskmaster will actually block it, almost as if he's registering Peter's fighting style in his head as the battle is going on at the same time, and then using Peter's moves to his advantage by blocking Peter's attacks and then countering them using them on Peter himself. Taskmaster's fighting style isn't necessarily one of his own, but one where he takes his opponent and counteracts it. Peter starts to notice this throughout the battle and knows that there is no way he can win. And for once, it isn't actually the villain retreating, but rather Peter retreats instead, knowing that he can't beat him on this ground. He'll have to find another way to win this battle. After escaping, Peter still begs the question, who is this guy? What was he doing? Why was he trying to attack Peter? For what reason he doesn't know, but Peter immediately contacts Captain Stacy after the end of the last episode as well. They both talk to each other on the phone, and they talk about the possibility of this new guy being linked to the crimes committed in the first episode. Captain Stacy says that it's definitely a possibility because they can't rule any options out at this point in the investigation. However, he does think that it might be a completely separate issue. There has been no indication that Spider-Man nor the police are anywhere close to even solving this crime or the issues set out in episode 1. Either way, Peter has got a new challenge on his hands with this Taskmaster. Captain Stacy says to keep him posted, as he's also trying to figure out the stuff from episode 1 as well. Peter says will do, and they both hang up the phone. Peter returns home battered and bruised. However, he returns to someone at his doorstep. It's Mary Jane. She says to Peter that she was wondering when he was getting home, and Peter asks what she's doing here, and she says that she was waiting for him to get home to see if he wanted to potentially go and catch a movie with her tonight. She's not got anything on, and she's finished her schoolwork. Peter says sure, and MJ says that's great. So I wanted to add a couple of scenes in here, just more developing this relationship and carrying on this storyline as well. This is going to be a big part of Season 4 and possibly going into Season 5 as well, so I want to branch this out as much as possible. Peter and MJ will go out to a movie. However, throughout this scene, MJ will start to ask Peter questions about the Bugle and his job, like, is it dangerous being around fights all the time? And how do you get there while it's still happening? Questions that are starting to dig deep into Peter's personal connection to these fights and possibly reveal his secret identity. Peter gets quite nervous that MJ is actually closing down on his secret identity, but he plays it cool. However, we'll start to see a few hints that MJ is potentially trying to pry it out of Peter. As we do know, she did find out Peter's secret identity at the end of season 3. Also, these scenes here with MJ trying to pry Peter's secret identity out of him one way or another will actually parallel another character's motifs later on in the episode. So keep your eye open for that. We cut a little later on in the episode, in fact it will be the next day. And this is where we actually get to the title of the episode, which is Physical Education, and they will be in PE class. However, their regular gym teacher will actually be off sick, so they will have a substitute gym teacher, who goes by the name of Anthony Masters. Now, as you could probably tell, I am going to be taking very heavy inspiration from that one Ultimate Spider-Man episode where Anthony Masters was the gym teacher for Midtown High, and he was actually trying to find out who Spider-Man was by analyzing the kids' skill sets. Now, I'm going to be taking a page out of that book, as Anthony Masters here, who is, by the way, Taskmaster, will have noticed that Spider-Man is in fact a kid, and his motif is to find out Spider-Man's secret identity. So by studying Spider-Man, studying his build, his voice, and his fighting style, he can pretty much determine that his age has got to be somewhere around of a teenager. Therefore, logically, Taskmaster will deduce that Spider-Man is in fact from Midtown High. So he will become the substitute gym teacher to find out who Spider-Man is. And this is where he'll put the whole class through a bunch of trials and tribulations to try and find out if any of them are actually Spider-Man. And he will go through all of the classes until he finds the right one. Anthony Masters will set out a course for all of the kids to do, with a bunch of obstacles that resemble how Spider-Man jumps and leaps over things, including ropes for them to swing on, including tires to crawl through, including walls to jump over, etc. After analysing all of the students' body types, he deduces that Peter Parker in fact has the most similar body type to Spider-Man, so makes him go first. Peter thinks at first this could be a great way to show off, especially to Flash, who have had a rivalry with each other for the longest time. However, Peter can't reveal his secret identity, so of course, will do it very half-heartedly, struggling to get up the wall, not being able to swing with the rope, etc. So inadvertently, he will avoid selection from Taskmaster, which will cause Taskmaster to go through the rest of the class, when he reaches none other than Flash Thompson. Now, just like the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, Flash will of course try his hardest, because he is the most athletic, other than obviously Peter Parker, who can't reveal that because he is Spider-Man, and obviously he is trying to show off to all of the girls, he's trying to show off to the rest of his classmates, so of course, Flash will be then selected at the end of the day. When it's time to go home, everyone will leave school in an orderly fashion. However, Taskmaster will end up abducting Flash Thompson, as he believes that in fact he has found the person that wears the mask, and he believes Flash Thompson to be Spider-Man. But will the rest of the class become aware of Flash's disappearance? We'll just have to find out. So with that being said, that is it for part 1 of Physical Education. So obviously, because this is a two-parter, this will be split into 2 episodes. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure to leave a like on the video, and let me know what you think of Season 4 so far. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, and peace.